Going to be here. All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start. And the first thing is I just want to make you aware of the emergency exits. We have the exit right here. We have the exit doors where you came in, and there's an exit all the way in the back at the end of the hall. So let's just start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a moment of silence for our service members, both those who've passed and the present ones serving for us. Thank you. Okay. All right, so our first item on the agenda is the Garrido lot line adjustment. Is it just you tonight, Faye?
It's just me.
Okay.
I think we have copies of this map. It is basically, we own 3 parcels on Route 55 on Sunrise Drive. And it's actually bringing 2 of the lots into compliance, size-wise. And on the log home, there's a shed that's actually on the other parcel. So with moving the lines, it puts the shed in compliance on what will be my son's property eventually. And I'm taking a little bit from the vacant land between the log home and the bank. It's squared off, so it brings both those 2 lots in the minimum size. I don't know if anybody would like to have copies, if you'd like to see.
Okay. All right.
That's basically it. I was here last month and answered the questions that were asked by the board satisfactorily. So I'm hoping tonight that we can move forward with a resolution with giving the project a conditional approval.
Okay. All right, thanks, Faye.
Any questions?
Yeah, right there, we're going to get tonight's a public hearing,
Yes.
so I guess we'll do the public hearing and then go through engineer comments.
You can do that way, Mr. Chair, if you want to vote to open the public hearing.
Okay. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
I have a motion. Yep.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
For the record, the planning department has reviewed all the certified mailings and the affidavit of publication, so
Okay.
they're all in order.
Okay. All right, so we're going to open it up to a public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak about the project? Feel free to come up. Now's your chance to talk about it if you're interested in it. It is a very simple project, just a lot line realignment, but here's your chance. Anybody who would like to speak on the project? Okay, hearing none. I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, so I think at this juncture, we'll open it up to, Faye, did you make any modifications per our comments from the last meeting? Has there been any
Yes,
new information?
If you look at the surveyor did add the required statements on the plan.
Okay.
It's probably easier to see it on this big map than a little.
Right.
Get rid of what they were.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Bruce Oswald.
Bob Osmond.
Well, I always call him Bruce because I know a Bruce.
There is a Bruce.
I know.
Are they related?
Yeah, these comments were added,
Okay.
and you see.
Just adjacent property.
Yeah, if you see, this really makes sense, because this was this lot,
Yeah.
and now it's this. So this was undersized, so now it meets the requirement. And then by adding this, we keep that in compliance, and then this is the vacant land, so that's
okay.
down the road. You know, this will have to be changed, but that's
All
not
right.
for today.
Dan, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this point?
Yeah, there were a few of those notes that need to be revised. Faye, last time we talked about if you were gonna be able to find that previous,
Yeah, I couldn't.
no? Okay.
No. And, you know, I think, in essence, I'm not, on this application, I'm not touching the property. You're just moving lines. And I know we talked about that at the last meeting, but no, I wasn't able to.
Yeah, there was another applicant before our board who was doing the same type of thing.
Right,
They just
right.
were able to get a letter of no impact from SHPO relatively quickly. So you'd have to get onto the CRIS website, it's called.
What is it?
CRIS, C-R-I-S, it's a cultural resource information
And
system.
ask for,
And you'd have to, submit information about the property and ask them for a letter of no impact.
historical.
Yeah.
It's usually a pretty easy application because it's one of those things like filling out a DMV registration online.
Okay,
You just fill out the little windows where they ask you questions, and then there may be a spot for attachments if they ask for pictures, and just download some pictures. The Chris was really not that
and you
complicated.
just type in CRIS?
CRIS.
Yeah, Cultural
yeah.
Resource Information System.
Yeah, and it's a division of SHPO, State Historic Preservation Office, which is a division of the State Parks Office.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I will do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot line realignment, so
Yeah,
I don't think they're
You
gonna,
still have to check for the history,
Yeah,
or
we just-
any impact on it. We had the same thing with wireless.
yeah.
skipping ahead a little bit on my letter, there was a comment I had about the town attorney providing some guidance. The signed application, you signed it, but there's a parcel that your husband owns as a sole
No,
owner.
actually, that's been, it's not shown on parcel access, but within the last month, both of our names are on the property.
Okay, so the deeds you gave us didn't show
I know,
that, so
'cause
do you
it-
have a new deed for that then that you can provide?
get
Or
it. I have to go to Poughkeepsie and get it.
Okay,
Or I
if you
have
can,
power of attorney.
or that's fine
Yeah,
too.
I
But,
do.
provide evidence of that
I
if
do,
you want,
yeah.
and then we can have you as the sole signator on the application and the
Yeah.
plats, and just to keep everything paperwork-wise.
Gotcha.
Let me just jot that down really quick. Okay. Easements, every town center property that goes through subdivision, we always ask for easements for future utilities, so we're trying to figure out if there are any other easements around in this area. I haven't seen any,
No.
I haven't been able to unearth any, but
And the utility pole is it's on my property. Well, it's on the easement.
this is intended for future water and sewer. So I'll take a look at some other areas and where there might potentially ever be some expansion of Dalton Farms and see how it would best line up with your property, and we'll be asking for an easement on that.
Okay, now where would that be?
That's what I need to
And how
go
soon?
into. Whenever I can get to it, Faye.
Okay. Well, I also have, I had an engineer look at the property, the vacant property between the two lots we're talking about. And because of the stream there, we could do our own wastewater and discharge it to the stream. Not that I'm opposed to joining Dalton, but I have an option there. I'm not gonna develop it.
Yeah, I mean, what the goal is, there's the
Yes, I know.
comprehensive plan, we have, an idea that eventually, hopefully, there's gonna be a sewer and water system that serve the town center to allow it to be developed to the
Mm-hmm. Right.
potential that it was intended to. So that was the idea, and so
Understood.
whenever we have an opportunity in a subdivision or plans, we ask for easements for
I don't
water
mind
and sewer. So we'll figure that out.
That just came up.
The aquifer overlay, since it's in our code, this is a little bit different because you have a site plan approval already for the development of the two-family lot, in which case that really has the only actual physical disturbance associated with it. So I've just asked that the same aquifer overlay standards that were used for that are placed on this plan.
Placed by the surveyor or the engineer?
Yeah, on his plat, yeah.
Okay.
So you,
Overlay? Okay. Aquifer.
that's comment 6, just so you know, on my review letter. And just a few more things, just to clean up and coordinate between the site plan and this. This is still not the layout that was approved as the site plan on here.
I'm sorry.
The driveway and all that that's shown on here,
Yeah, I know, the surveyor didn't realize that.
yeah,
The driveway is in a different location.
yeah. So he needs to update that based on what was
Okay.
approved as the site
Relocate the
plan.
driveway?
Yeah,
It's just update.
your engineer sent him the CAD, so he's just gonna
Yes.
drop it in there.
Okay, yep.
And the planning board had previously talked about it, you're aware of what you're going through with the sidewalk covenant on the one lot,
Yes,
but we talked about the sidewalk covenant for the other lot as well now, so.
that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to
So-
add that, I have no
Yep.
problem with that.
Okay, that's it for me.
So the attorney will use it for both this application and the one previous.
Yeah, well, it may need to be modified just to include change the property number. I think it was, maybe if it was a tax number or whatever else was on there.
I'm not sure.
The document describes the property.
Oh, yes.
Whether it used the tax parcel ID
So
number or
just
something.
add that to
So
it.
it would just need to be either added or it could be a separate, completely separate document for
It
both.
could be just added. It's up to the attorney, actually.
Yeah.
It can likely be incorporated into
Yeah.
one document.
It's two lots together. so they
Two
just-
adjacent lots, the ones where you're
Yes.
adjusting the lot lines
They
on, yeah,
just-
you could probably incorporate both lots
Okay.
into one agreement with
That's
the town.
fine.
All right, is that it?
Yep.
So do you recall what stage we're at? Had we done preliminary plat approval yet? Normally, we do the hearing first.
We always do the public hearing first, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about preliminary approval if you'd like. We had suggested that, you could authorize us to put together a draft resolution for conditional approval for a future meeting.
Okay. The only issue I was thinking about, Fay, was, and I think you mentioned this, I'm just going to ask again, the driveway
Yes.
that's crossing, we're going to omit a section of it at the property line?
I don't know if it's necessary, that's up to you folks, because I'm gonna come in right here.
Yeah.
Right here, actually,
Yeah.
end up there. And I would just as soon leave this open, but if you want me to put a fence there, I could.
I think the site plan called for just a break, so like some of it is just ripped up.
Oh, okay, so it's.
So there's a physical disconnection.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Would you still be able to accomplish what we did the last time on that other development, or just putting like to make it easier, or instead of having to rip it up, maybe just put like a fence or something, or no?
We did that at, what was that, Green Hill Farms
Right.
did that.
Just as an option for us, so she doesn't have to tear it up?
They just put a small section of
Yeah, just as a
split rail
development.
fence.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could do that,
Yeah.
that's no problem.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, thank you.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I think, I know you and your family are gonna be living here, and it's probably not even an issue, but and I say this to all our applicants, in the event that these properties get sold and you have two different
Right, owners.
people living next to each other, now you got a guy parking his truck right up against the edge of this other guy's property.
Yep.
And so,
Yeah,
that's why we wanna have that segregation, sort of. Otherwise, I think, we discussed all this with the site plan approval, and we discussed the, the septic, the layout, we've already approved the site plan, so a lot of the physical issues were already discussed. So, to me, you're straightening out the subdivision line, so I don't have any other issues to discuss. I'll open it up to my board.
I have nothing else. I'm good. Go ahead.
All right, well, I think we're in position to give preliminary plat approval, so we've had the chance for the public to review and comment, so I think at this moment, I'm going to ask for a motion to grant preliminary plat approval.
I'd like to grant a motion to, or propose a motion to grant plat approval.
Preliminary?
Second.
Seconded
Is
by
that
Claude?
preliminary plat approval?
Yes, for preliminary plat.
Do you need anything else, sir? Do you need anything else?
We need to draft up a resolution of conditional approval,
Okay,
so.
Are there outstanding submissions that you need?
Yeah, there's a few things that need to be
Okay.
updated, yeah.
So draft just the resolution granting preliminary plat approval rather than grant preliminary plat approval, or?
Well, I
Just
was
impose the
going to
conditions.
grant preliminary plat approval, and then we'd have another we would open up another motion to grant condition final approval.
Okay,
But we would request for you to prepare that resolution.
okay.
Because I think
I'm just
preliminary
clar-
plat's a lot less complicated. We're just granting preliminary
Yeah,
plat.
yeah, typically,
There's no
what we've done
conditions.
is we encompass this all into a final resolution.
Okay,
So it encompasses all of the resolutions and things that the planning board approved and granted along the process.
so basically what you need is the historical impact study, the aquifer overlay on the map, relocate the driveway, indicate the fence. Is that it?
Your approved site plans shows a physical disconnection, so if you're gonna show a fence, we gotta change the site plan.
Oh, I'll do disconnect then.
Yeah, I would just do the disconnect if I were you.
We're just going to offset the driveway.
That's gotta get changed too.
It's just ripping up a foot.
Yeah, it's either that or they haven't submitted the site plan for
Yeah.
signature yet, so
Okay.
they could just change the site plan to have the
A
fence.
fence? Okay.
Either
All right.
or.
Okay, that's fine.
I think the
Yeah.
board's happy with either or, I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but.
Either or is fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever's
either or works for me. It's,
The fence may be more attractive. A
what would you,
nice,
what would you prefer?
You know, blacktop ripped up, I don't know. Or a little grass on it.
All right.
Don't
But-
forget comment. This is the one I got, this is number 8. It's just another update, that was the name.
Right, yeah. Don't forget to put my name on here. I'm the chairman now, so.
Oh, me, oh, yeah.
There is one procedural thing that we normally would vote on, and that would be a waiver for topography. So the board already granted a waiver for topography per the sketch 130-12E, but again, in our preliminary plat approval stage, 130-20A2 requires topography. So since this was just moving lot lines, that was the reason why you waived topography in the sketch plan phase. So if you would like, you could also make that waiver now so that
Yeah.
the surveyor knows not to have to put that on the map.
All right, I'm going to propose an amendment to the motion that we grant a waiver for the topography. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, now we could discuss it. Do you have any issues with granting it? I agree, it's just a lot line removal. There's not any disturbance involved in this action, so it's really not necessary to show topography
I
at this level. So, all right,
So for the record, that's 130-20A2.
yeah, we have a motion on the table to grant preliminary plat approval and also grant a waiver for, what did you say, 130-12?
130-20A2.
2A2.
20A2 to grant a waiver for not having to show topography. We have a second. Any other discussion?
None for me?
Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, unanimously approved
For which motion?
for the motion as amended.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
amended the initial, okay.
Yeah,
understood.
yeah. So we're granting preliminary plan approval with the amendment that we're going to grant a waiver
Understood.
included. All right.
And the other thing is, do you want to authorize us to prepare a resolution for conditional final for your consideration?
Is there anything else that we have to, the seeker's done, right? We wouldn't have
Seeker's
gotten-
type 2.
Yeah,
And that was already determined
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
so at this point, it's just granting preliminary plan, asking you guys to prepare a resolution for conditioned,
Right, because that way
Approval,
everybody
final
knows what the
approval.
conditions are before the meeting. We're
yeah,
not going on the fly.
yeah, and we're still expecting those items to get taken care of.
Yeah, the more that
But you
get
might as
taken
well
care
get
of,
the
the better.
resolution, yeah, yeah. All right, I'll make a motion to ask the town engineer to prepare a final conditioned resolution. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Closer.
There's too many things to include in these statements.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Thank you, Fay. All right, next item on the agenda is Duchess Contracting Corporation.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, thanks.
Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. The next one on the, my mistake, I read it wrong. The next item on the agenda is Hickson Accessory Apartment. Next time yell at me and say, hey, aren't I next?
I thought maybe they were before me, but I wasn't sure. So I believe at the last meeting, we discussed making a couple changes to the answers to some of the aquifer overlay requirements. So we did do that, and then in addition to adding the names and address of the owners on there. So we did do that, and then we also did receive from Dan Kohler the draft resolution. So I believe it's just be getting that approved and then dealing with the building department.
Did you happen to include a map with your submittal here?
Here's a big one here.
I believe so, yep.
Okay. I just want to reacquaint myself with this one. Claude, are you familiar with this one? Do you recall this one?
It was here.
You remember this? Yeah. So we haven't had the public hearing for this yet.
We did
We did.
last month.
Yeah.
We did?
Yep.
Oh, all right. All right, so I'll just ask our town engineer, do you have any comments?
No, the mapping addressed all of our comments, which is a pleasure. Thank you for doing that before. So to limit the number of conditions on this. So we prepared a draft resolution of preliminary and conditional final site plan and special use permit for this. So on page 3, there's a lot of whereas, which just is the history of how we got here. But just to go through the two conditions prior to the chairman signing the plan would be that any and all outstanding application and or escrow fees related to the planning board review process shall be remitted as determined by the town finance department, and that the owner shall sign a copy of this resolution and file it with the planning board for the purpose of indicating familiarity with the provisions of this resolution and acknowledging receipt of a copy thereof. And then there's some more further resolved items there, which have to do with the number of copies of the plan that would need to be submitted here so that the chairman can sign the plan. Then there's another set of conditions that are related to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, where the owner is to scan a copy of the fully executed site plan set and provide an electronic copy back to the planning department for our files. that they'll remediate any and all existing code violations, if any exist, as stipulated by the building inspector, and then permit inspection of the premises by the building inspector to ensure that the bedroom count is no more than the 4 total that are in the application, which is 3 in the main house and 1 in the accessory apartment.
Do you have any objections to any of those conditions?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they're pretty, most of these are pretty standard conditions
Right.
that we
Yep.
normally do, but because it's an apartment, there was a couple of extra ones that we want to make sure our code enforcement officer has access. All right, I don't have any issues moving this project forward. It's a simple accessory use apartment. I think it's important in our community to, increase housing, affordable housing for, our younger folks and our older folks who don't need a larger house, or we don't have enough apartments for people, and this is a nice way to, it's a nice way that our comprehensive plan, our zoning ordinance accommodates the ability to increase housing units in our community, and without, making large, apartment buildings, So I'm okay with moving forward. Do you guys have any issues?
I'm fine.
Nope.
Okay. All right, so basically, we're looking to, you've prepared the resolution for site plan and special use permit approval. It's conditioned, right?
I'll make a motion to conditionally approve this site plan.
I'll second. Any discussion?
And technically, we have to do preliminary site plan, conditional final site plan, and special use permit.
Oh, separately.
So
So
you
the
could
first-
do them all as one motion, or you could
You should
do,
vote separately.
Vote separately?
probably clearer
Okay.
to do it separate.
I'll
First one would be
offer the
preliminary.
conditional site plan approval.
First one's preliminary site plan.
Preliminary.
So you're making a motion for preliminary site plan approval?
Yes.
I'm second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved.
Now we have to do special use, correct?
I'll make a motion for special use permit approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And then the final, we need a motion for conditioned final approval.
I'll second.
I'll make that motion. So seconded by Jason. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimously approved. All right,
Perfect.
I think you're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
Okay, now you guys are up. Sorry about that. Dutchess Contracting Corporation.
I got you guys, don't worry about it.
Good evening, I'm George Crank, one of the engineers working on this project with EGM Consulting Engineering. We got Chris Laporta with Passero Engineering and Brian with Stokosa Engineering, Day and Stokosa Engineering. We've obviously been here for a while, giving some presentations to you and working on comments over time.
1 second, please. Yeah, just speak a little closer to the mic so we can hear you a little more clearly.
He says he can hear it, but
Is that better?
that is better.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We'd like to review what I believe is the 3 outstanding items or major topics that need to be discussed, and we respectfully request that we can hopefully make a motion tonight to move towards getting a conditional resolution so we can start moving through and finishing our seeker process, as well as all of our final approvals. So specific to the utilities, you had a chance to look at those at the last meeting. There's really been no changes at this point. We're looking to prepare our packages to be submitted to the Health Department as well as to Dutchess County Water and Wastewater Authority. So we are looking for that seeker component to this project so that they can complete their reviews as well. I know Chris is going to speak about the traffic.
Yeah, there hasn't been any changes to the turning lane as well. Just wanted to come to give a brief update. We did get our initial comments from Jason Brenner over at New York State Department of Transportation. They were technical in nature, minor, things like this item number changed. So there was no overarching, nothing that we were very concerned with. The one thing that they did bring up that they flagged was they were worried if we were going to send extra drainage into their right-of-way. So we just got these comments yesterday, and I reached out to Jason, have a great working relationship with them, let him know we've been working with the site engineer, Brian, and we have rerouted that pond so that we're maintaining the existing drainage pattern, which is, from a SWIP's perspective and environmental perspective, always the best way to do things. You want to try and maintain those existing drainage patterns. So we submitted the right-of-way work permit application, just recapping a little from last time. We're in part one. There's 3 parts of the DOT application. You move from part 1 to 2 to 3. 1 and 2 is where all of the design coordination takes place. Part 3 is you're pretty much done. You're figuring out your contractor and your bonds and those items. So what we gave them, we went in with a pretty detailed set of plans. I'd say it was 70% towards part 2, and that's our goal, is to keep moving. And the DOT takes some time to obtain those permits. So we're eager to move forward too. One of the required documents is the seeker determination for the part 2 of the DOT application. So we're just here to answer any questions you may have regarding to the right-of-way work, and make sure that we're satisfying everything if anyone has any questions. I don't know if anyone wanted to have any further discussion about the right-of-way, or I could hand it to Brian to just continue on the site engineering components of the job.
I mean, when you originally came before us, and I guess you guys have been before us for a couple of years now, at least, we did have some concerns about the impact of traffic on 55. And my concern was there were so many units that there'd be a lot of added traffic to what I would consider a pretty difficult intersection up there. It seems to be a high-volume intersection. But since then, you've reduced the amount of units drastically. And they've done the traffic study, and they've determined that there's not going to be any impact to the intersection. But the design is resulting in the need for a turning lane, correct?
Correct. Yep. That traffic study was done by a firm before we were involved with the project, but I sent it over to our transportation group. They reviewed it and agreed with the findings, and so did DOT. We discussed it in detail, the lengths, the stacking distances, and all the geometry of the traffic lanes. So we think that we agree with the warrant for the left turn lane and the design as presented today.
Is there also going to be more signage on 55 indicating, are people going to be able to make a left out of there or right? There's no issues like that, right?
No issues like that.
Yeah, all right. Do you guys have any issues about the traffic stuff?
No, I mean, my current concerns with the volume, but they addressed that with the study.
Yeah, all right. No further questions on the traffic.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, before you, if you can, our code requires that correspondence with outside agencies is copied to the town. So
Oh, sure.
I don't mean every single email correspondence, but if there's anything kind of significant where they've made some sort of a determination that, there might be issues with how much drainage you are sending to there right away or something, we'd just like to be kept in the loop on that as well.
Sure, yep, I'll forward over the correspondence.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would think you'd want to see all their comment letters, whatever comment letters they're making.
And it's code requirement, so
Yeah.
our code calls for it, so.
Yeah, sure.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
We, at the last meeting, we had reviewed some of the Part 3, secret Part 3 items. The town indicated that they felt, in their due diligence, they needed some more time to review the preliminary responses that Dan and I worked on together. And so, from a site perspective, nothing has changed on the plans or anything at this point. Here we are, we're hoping that everyone had a chance to look over the responses, and if they feel that something's amiss, or it has to be added, or corrected, or not expanded upon, so on.
It's a small thing. I know at one point, and I wasn't here for the last meeting, so I apologize if it was covered. The pickleball court, are those still there? They were talking
No.
about gardens? Or
Gardens
now?
It was, one of the public comments was if we could consider doing something other than what
More
amounts to an impervious surface, so.
All right, yeah, no, thank you for getting that to us. Have we all had a chance to review their comments? I find it hard to believe we haven't approved the seeker yet, right? It's because we had a public hearing. I thought, don't we normally not have a public hearing unless the seekers?
We waived the shot clock on the public hearing
Okay,
at the time, so that the board could feel comfortable.
okay.
At the time, DOT, Board of
Yeah.
Health, the water sewer, and that they had time to adequately digest all the revisions, any of the revisions that may or may not have been coming. So
Right.
hopefully we can say that we're not anticipating anything would substantially change the design intent or the layout at this point beyond technical information.
So regarding the pond, the direction, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but the direction of the pipe has been changed to be away from the house, but towards the drainage channel that goes behind the house.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But there is still a secondary flow for high flows that goes to the right of way,
Yes.
just to be clear.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But the modeling in the pre-development, Brian, correct me if you're wrong, it's your model, but it shows that during high-level storms, that there is outflow to the right-of-way as well. So there's the pipe that discharges to behind the house, which is, that's to the west, I would say. That has a certain capacity, and then as the pond continues to rise, it would spill over towards the right-of-way. In the pre-development condition, there's a lower area on the 55 side where some of that water will still get over there as well.
What size pipe is that?
The existing is a 24-inch, I believe it's a corrugated metal pipe.
And that's what the proposed is going to be, 24?
That is also going to be, actually, I believe it's down, I believe I have a smaller pipe now, actually, because I don't need quite as much flow, because we have a controlled orifice at the water level that's discharging a small amount of water the entire time instead of waiting for a large,
Gotcha.
for everything to go through.
So,
There's a lot more volume in the new pond, too.
yeah, it's storing more water, can handle more water, and then it releases it at a slower rate. Do you have like an energy dissipator at the end of the pipe?
We would have riprap protection at the end of
Riprap,
it, sized based upon the pipe size.
Okay. All right, I don't have any other issues with the drainage. We've gone over it, numerous times. I understand it's not an easy concept to grasp because it's still, we've had complaints from the neighbors there that since the original pond was built, that their house is getting flooded, whatnot. Now, my understanding is that neighbor's no longer there, not that that should influence how we still think about it, but you're reorienting the pipe to make sure that it gets into the drainage channel that pre-existed, and you're not increasing runoff. You've developed a stormwater pollution prevention plan that's in accord with the state stormwater practices. So I'm okay to move forward. I don't have any other issues with the drainage stuff.
No.
All right, so what can we do tonight?
So, we went through all the part two. You took a very good hard look at all of those questions. You came up with a number of moderate to large potential impacts that may occur. Part three goes ahead and discusses those potentially moderate to large impacts that may occur. What was done was there was a supplemental sheet, that's the one on the Days Tacosa letterhead, that goes through and says, and it shows all of the different supporting reports and documents that would help you lead to a environmental determination on the project. And then it goes through a specific response to every single one of the part two questions that was moderate to large. So they gave a reasoning on why, whether it was through design changes or mitigations or just overall changes to the plan that would allow it to be, maybe not be considered moderate to large.
You know that's how I like it done. All right, that's fine. Basically, when you do get to the part two, there's thresholds and it indicates, whether the project's exceeding the threshold. Is there, more trees than what the threshold would allow? And that would kick it into an explanation in part three. So they did a very detailed explanation. I've read through it. It does include a lot of the things that we asked to, at previous meetings. A lot of the concepts that we wanted to include, why we think it's not, a large impact or positive impact. And so, I'm all right with the part three at this point. So basically, we'd be voting on on approving the type 1 seeker.
Yeah, so it's a type 1 action, so what you would be, there's a statement on the second page of part 3, where I checked, but the board, obviously, it's your decision, you're the decision-making body, but box A is that the project will result in no significant adverse impacts on the environment, and therefore an environmental impact statement need not be prepared. Accordingly, this negative declaration is issued. So what you'd be doing is you'd be voting on whether or not you thought that that's true. If you don't, and you think that there's potentially large impacts that are not being addressed, you could, go for a positive declaration, which would lead to an environmental impact statement.
Okay.
I think they've answered everything sufficiently.
Yeah, I mean,
The letter's very specific.
Right.
yeah. I mean, we've talked about impacts to land and impacts to the groundwater and the traffic, drainage. So I think we're ready to move forward. All right, so I need a motion to approve that this project will result in no significant adverse impacts, thereby allowing us to sign off on the seeker.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, it's approved. So this will help you move forward on some of your other permitting processes?
Yes.
Yeah. And just to be clear to the public, we haven't approved the entire, the project isn't fully approved at this point. It just, we're just approving the environmental assessment right now.
Yeah, so procedurally, our code requires that once the seeker determination is made, I believe, I'm just going to take a quick look at this, but there's a finite amount of time in between that determination and the need to move on preliminary plat approval and preliminary site plan approval as well. So let's see if I can try to pull that up quickly.
Can I ask status on some of your other issues? I know you're working with
Absolutely.
DOT on the road permit. What about the water and sewer?
So we're preparing, excuse me, we're preparing the package to be submitted to them. Most likely it'll go in next week. Given today's determination that we can move forward, I'd like to be able to tell them that the seeker has at least been determined. This has got to go through Dutchess County Water and the Health Department. They both need time to review it. There's usually a couple of rounds of comments that get addressed before you complete it. Certainly would not be complete by the next meeting,
I see.
I would think usually within 30 days, we get back our first set of responses, and if there's any significant comments that would come of the application or the submission, we would certainly want to make sure that we're addressing those or presenting those back to this board.
I understand. Great. Yeah, no, I was going to say, do you anticipate any changes in the design?
I hope not. At this point, I'm not anticipating any big changes.
The allocation of quantity, right, has already been decided, right? So it's not going to be about...
Correct. There's already a letter from the Dutchess County Water that they can serve up to 10,000 gallons of flow and water source. So that's not going to be the concern. I think that, they'll have their requirements. We got to get easements, finalized and approved. We've got to make sure that, whatever they're using for the latest security or technology for monitoring the pump station, make sure that we have whatever they're requiring. They've had some personnel changes over there in the last, few months, so I just want to make sure that they're going to get what they need over there.
Sure.
Because eventually they'll be operating the system.
Okay.
All right.
So just our code 155-59G2, this has to do with the shot clock that Brian was talking about earlier. It's really within 62 days of the receipt of the completion of the public hearing and determination that the application is technically sufficient, the planning board shall act to approve with modifications, or disapprove the proposed site plan. That's at the preliminary level. And in terms of the subdivision component of this project, 130-21, 130-23, again, within 62 days of the conclusion of the public hearing, planning board shall approve with or without modification or disapprove the preliminary plat and the grounds for modification. So the shot clock, when they waived it, it had to do with, we had to finish the seeker before we could grant the preliminaries. So that's part of the reason why they were willing to waive the shot clock on
Right.
on that. So technically, there's another shot clock that starts after preliminary also, where they have to submit to the board within 6 months for final. So it's up to you guys if you feel like you want to start, continue to work with the outside a little bit more, come back for preliminary at that point, or...
So I'd like to suggest that we plan to come back to the next meeting, that once we've made our submission with the new schedule. I'm not envisioning a lot of changes in the plan at this point. We maybe the Health Department or the Dutchess County Water would want a different pump in the pump station or something, but it's certainly not that anything is changing where the connection points are or the amounts of flow are changing. At this point, we've gotten, through some preliminary review with the DOT. They certainly haven't flagged anything. Obviously, they've got their process that they work through. And I think you guys have to finalize the SIP components a little bit, right? I don't think that's fully signed off yet.
Not quite. I think there's a couple of technical, cleanup.
Yeah.
Did you say SWIP components?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would think that, realistically, these are all typically conditions of the conditional approval, that we would have to finish getting those approvals in place, making sure that everybody's had a chance from these other agencies to review the plans. They obviously saw the plans way back when SECR was originally circulated, but now that the plans have been adjusted and updated and met all the conditions, or, met all the intent of this board, I'd like to be able to come back, and if there's any significant reason, we certainly want to talk with the applicant a little bit about if we needed to extend any time period here at this point, because we still need that we may need that other 6 months after that to go get final approvals from everything.
All right.
Yeah, the way we've been working on this is, there's been a number of times when conditional approval is granted, but then the outside agencies take a much longer than expected, so the more you can work with them and get yourself in better condition to have that ready, so that we don't have to continue to wait or ask, you have to ask for extensions of any conditional approvals, the better.
Sure, understood.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we know that the water and sewer stuff goes on for a while. The health department stuff, they're their own animal. They take a long time to approve, and we often allow for a conditional final approval with that condition being. But I think, Dan, I just want to reiterate his point. The more progress you can make now, the less extensions you'll have to ask, because extensions tend to be tedious to us, because we sort of forget the project. We forget about the project, and we've moved on to other projects, and we're trying to remember, and it almost becomes like a rubber stamping thing. All right, well, I guess we'll just do it, but, so the more progress you can make. But I concur with what you're saying before. I think you've got a good strategy there. Why don't you come back next meeting, give us an update on your progress with the DOT and with the health department and the water and sewer authority, and we'll go from there.
All right.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And same as the DOT comment, anything you submit to Water Wastewater Authority or Health Department, just copy the board. That way we can know that you're making those efforts as well.
Great, thanks, guys. Okay, next item on the agenda, Town Center Grove. I remember this one. Over by the ball fields, yeah.
Where is he?
All right, so you want to let us know what the status of this is, where you're at?
The status with this is the Board of Health is completely done. We've addressed most of a great number of the comments, I believe, that were outstanding from the town engineer. We've gotten the front utility easement, we've gotten the descriptions on those, the meets and bounds set. I think they're still just finalizing that now that they have that with the town attorney, I believe. It's my understanding. We've done D-tests, we've done some of the boilerplate corrections, and we're seeking, as we were talking on the previous project, an extension to get this finalized. And
So I kind of read it a little bit different in a way, Brian. Because this constitutes, a submittal for your, for final, so you wouldn't need any more preliminary extensions as far as I was concerned.
me asking for one has become a force of habit. Sorry.
Wait, have we given conditioned final on this?
Preliminary.
We gave preliminary plat approval,
Yeah, site plan approval, yeah.
site plan approval.
Yep.
So he's here for conditioned final approval?
I think authorization to draft.
Yeah. All right, so, I don't know if Claude's familiar with this. Have you seen this one before?
Yeah, it seems like a little while back, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a while since there's been more of a technical presentation.
yeah, it began as, the project morphed at some point, right? It started off differently, I think, and then,
There was
Two buildings.
on the the
Right.
first,
Yeah, it was actually
Right.
a different engineer too.
Right.
yeah.
and they came to us and there was, we identified some constructability issues, once we looked at it.
Yeah, originally it was subdivision, site
Two.
plan, and special use permit, and there would have been two, this would have been mirrored generally. But
Right.
if you look at the size of the septic system needed for just the one building, you really probably wouldn't have been able to get the two.
Wasn't there a deed restriction involved?
That was the, that's actually the property
Oh, okay.
towards the park side.
All right.
So your zigzaggy line is showing the limit of disturbance, right?
Yes.
All right, so do you have tree protection in for those trees that we're not disturbing?
We can put that in there
Yeah,
as,
if you would, yeah. There does seem to be quite a few, it's not like an old growth forest, but there's a lot of trees out there.
Yeah, and one of the things that we noted in here, and I think it's worth discussing, is that the disturbance, because the septic system got larger, is actually a little bit more than the area that you're showing on there right now. The area is the same as it was in the last plan, but the septic got bigger. So I think that calc just needs to be relooked at. But I think you're still below the acre. So they wouldn't need a stormwater pollution prevention plan as a result of that. That's one of the big reasons they needed to really work hard with the health department on this one, because they're so close to that threshold that would require stormwater control. And so they are doing stormwater control on their own, but it would have been that next level SWIP if they went probably 0.05 more acres or so. So in order to make sure that there's not rogue activity that we've seen with other people in the past, we just want to be able to figure out if there's a way to really demarcate those limits of disturbance so that the contractor doesn't go outside of them and then go over the acre and then have to do some sort of retro SWIP type of thing.
Yeah,
So-
no, I don't, we'll get the surveyor out there to mark the points of disturbance and then outline that with some kind of barrier that's readily apparent. I think that's
Yeah,
really
you
the
know,
only
we had
way you
mentioned
can
like
do
the
it.
orange construction fence possibly, you could use temporary fencing, you know, the chain link that you can get from the rental places, whatever, but as long as there's something that just makes it really obvious to them, like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to be over this way.
And it helps us enforce it too. You know, we'll approve the fence, you know, before they start the disturbance, right?
It can be a condition of like a building permit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a great idea, yeah.
yeah. And this way our code enforcement officer could go out there, make sure the fence is installed in the right place. And then when she comes out periodically during the, you know, the construction, she can check, you know, that the fence isn't moved or they're not violating that disturbed area. So, yeah, the orange fence seems to be, what might work for you.
And just, the board hasn't seen the architectural stuff lately. So, this board is de facto architectural review board. I know it's still not your favorite thing always, but that's the way the code's written at this point, and so we have to deal
I'm
with
only
it.
getting paid to be a planning board, so,
Right,
the architecture, I'm doing that pro bono,
right.
so.
Nothing of,
Actually, I'm not even getting paid for planning
No.
board, so that's,
You're getting paid zero still.
it's zero, and then we add the zoning board, and it's more zero.
We actually
so-
tripled it, so we went from 0 to 0.
But we
So-
did review this as
Yeah, I
architectural
thought
review.
we
Yeah,
did.
there were some, I think that they were gonna come in with some swatches and materials for your consideration as well. So there was a plan that was color-coded.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
said all that, but I think the architect, and I think your office has been working with the architect, but just haven't gotten it just yet.
We just haven't gotten the swatches and the specific color font of the monument sign.
I mentioned that because I thought it would be good just to make sure that we go through that at the next meeting, and so that would give you time, a little more time to finish coordinating with him on that and get that part wrapped up.
Good comment.
And that, you know, the architectural review board in our town is, you know, responsible really for looking at the light fixtures, the signage, the buildings themselves. We normally consider that as part of the refuse enclosure, so they have a detail on all of those things. The signage, the architect does not finalize that detail. You've got a partial monument sign detail on
Yes.
your plan set, but hopefully that can come in. And the reason I mentioned that was because it could go multiple ways, where you could consider granting a site plan approval maybe at the next meeting, and if the architecture's not done, then they would have to come back here before a building permit is issued for those things. Or we could incorporate one large resolution of site plan approval and architectural review approval. It depends on what they give to us.
Sorry to interrupt, is an architectural review board comment required prior to preliminary or final site plan approval?
No, and not the way it's written in our code, I don't believe. We've done it in the past. There has been an instance where a site plan was given, but then they had to come back before breaking ground to get that final building approval from the ARB.
So it's a condition that the ARB approves to
Right.
building permits?
Prior to building permits, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done something very similar in other jurisdictions as well, where they kind of got a dual role and the timing just didn't work out.
Yeah, my recollection is that the board was generally satisfied with the building,
I
which obviously is the biggest part of this whole thing, right?
Yes.
But I
Yeah,
think that there was
that's
just a question about making sure that the materials were brought in, just to have a real look on, because the architect at the time said, the blue that comes out of my plotter isn't necessarily the blue that gets painted on the side of this house, so.
Yeah, even the swatches sometimes are much better representation, but, you could hold it up to your final, when it's all said and done, be like,
Right.
it's close, it's,
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind bringing that in, we'll have a look at it. Sorry. If you wouldn't mind bringing that in, we'll have a look at it.
okay.
So there was just a couple other plan comments, just cleaning up a few things, nothing too significant. And then we start looking into the final parts, so we talk about cost estimates for public improvements and inspection fee type information that would need to be included as well. Those obviously are normally conditions of an approval, but, you can start working on them. That way it's quicker to be to the finish line. One of the other things we had on here was also the aquifer overlay. I don't recall us ever going through the aquifer overlay standards. They're on the plan. The applicant has provided a response to all 5 standards on page 1 of this sheet of the site plan set.
Do you want to just quickly go over that with us and how your proposed development meets these standards, doesn't exceed them?
So I can repeat what we have on here. 155-12 for the standards, D1. We shall not appreciably alter the subsurface flow of groundwater to private water supply wells and existing and potential public water supply wells. The well, it's a private well.
Okay.
We have 4 units here, so it's not going to be considered a public water supply. And the disturbance is less than 1 acre, drainage flows will not be impacted by site development, so groundwater will be maintained to the extent we possibly can here. Point D2, appreciably degrade the quality of groundwater through the introduction of sewage waste, stormwater runoff, liquid chemicals, petroleum products, dissolved metals, or other toxic substances. Again, the site improvements have been reduced from the original approval substantially, and they're minor, and in that case, so they're minor. There's no substantial expansion of impervious surfaces or proposed. The proposed use will not introduce liquid chemicals, petroleum products, dissolved metals, or other toxic substances, so like pesticides or anything like that. Point D3, appreciably increase the long-term risk of groundwater contamination through the siting, establishment, or expansion of uses which store, transport, or utilize significant quantities of material which is potentially harmful to groundwater quality. Our response is the proposed site layout limits the introduction of impervious to the greatest extent possible. Additionally, no storage or transportation of significant quantities of materials will be stored on site. We're not going to have stockpiles of fertilizers, agricultural products. We're not going to have, there's not going to be diesel tanks, anything like of that kind of nature, so.
Yep.
Point D4, appreciably increase the long-term risk of groundwater contamination through the introduction of relatively small quantities of hazardous or toxic substances, which over a period of time may accumulate in groundwater. The proposed use will not store or contain any level of toxic material as the use is residential.
You're just building a house, you're not building an entire
Yes,
recycling
it's-
facility.
You know, no chip plants here or anything, no battery factories,
Right.
nothing of that nature.
Right.
Point D,
Five.
D5, appreciably increase the risk of groundwater contamination through the removal of soil, sand, stone, or gravel which provides a protective mantle for groundwater, for which is part of the geologic deposits making up the town's aquifers. With this plan, we've minimized grading and everything to the extent
Yeah.
possible.
It's not a major earth-moving operation.
No, again, the disturbance, we're keeping it
Yeah.
under an acre.
Yeah.
The biggest groundwater disturbance is to actually just put in septic,
Yeah.
deep excavation, if you will.
Yeah, okay. What is a septic? Is it a normal, it's just regular pipes?
Was
Like
that
a-
2-foot fill pad there, Brian?
It's right in here. I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Oh, what's the septic system again? What type of septic system do you have?
I believe we have a small fill pad.
I think it was 2 foot.
Yeah, 2 foot. Again, that would minimize any depth in the ground. It's going to be almost surface level with, you're covering it, if you would.
Why did you end up having to do that as opposed to just regular, just the regular system pipes? You had
If I believe.
high water table or something?
Groundwater.
Yeah, I don't think your test pits showed any groundwater in them, but,
I believe it may have been just the grading because of the size of the system. We couldn't get the coverage to meet code on its own. The laterals have to be level.
Yeah.
So if you're going with the contours and
Just so you.
you end up with not being able to provide the appropriate separations, covers, depths for the whole length, and you end up having to fill one side of it. You got to work with what you got on the grades. It gets harder and harder as they get bigger and bigger.
yeah. There was 5 test pits that were done that were all advanced to 6 foot. Well, actually, one of them was 6.5 foot, the other was advanced, the other 4 were advanced to 6 foot, and there was no water indicated in the test pit data, so normally that would almost allow a full in-ground system, but I believe it's because the rolling nature of the property there that the fill was used just to really level it out better.
Gotcha.
Board of Health makes you do actual, full fill pad details and requirements, even if you're just leveling. The only time they don't is if you just put like the 6 inches of topsoil, but
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so do we need to formally approve the aquifer standards?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve what exactly are we approving? That they're meeting the aquifer
Yeah,
standards, right?
that you've reviewed the standards and, you agree with the conclusions that were provided by the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, so the aquifer standards were approved. We've already got a preliminary plat approval, right?
Yeah, preliminary site plan approval, yep.
Sorry, I keep
That's
saying
okay.
that. All right, so is there anything else you're looking for tonight?
I mean, I would love us to authorize drafting a resolution for the next meeting, if possible. I can't necessarily guarantee what the architect's his time frame is, but.
So that's the only big issue that's hanging up in the air is our looking at the materials, the swatches?
Well, I think you also noted in the letter, Dan, about wanting to review, like you mentioned earlier, the lighting. You wanted to review the architect by the landscaping plan, because it's been a bit since we've seen it.
Yeah, I actually did mention that. It's been a minute since we've been here, right? So I
Yes.
figured it would be worthwhile just to reiterate that. I looked back in my notes, and I believe that the planning board was relatively satisfied with the landscaping that was proposed. But it would be a good idea just to make sure that that's a true statement still, resulting from any change that they may have made for the health department approval in the meantime.
Do you have a planting plan in this set? I mean, I see the plants, but I'm not,
That's kind of what I was referring to earlier.
There's a landscaping schedule on sheet 1. The schedule is right here.
oh, right.
And then some of their symbols are there. They did a number of street trees along Town Center Boulevard.
Yep,
I think those were, at one point, they were evergreens, and then the board had asked them to be changed to red maples.
yeah.
And, yeah, that's what that says, the Acer rubrum, right? Is that that's a red maple there, right?
Yes.
And then there was a number of shrubs that were placed around the proposed building, front, back, side, all 4 sides.
Yeah.
And then it looks like actually even along the drive too, the entry drive on the right-hand side of the entry drive, and then on the back side of the parking lot.
We have some additional planting kind of intermittently around the perimeter of the new pavement. Around
Right.
we come around, we have one in the little island that would separate the refuse enclosure from the parking.
Yeah, so those are trees?
The Tilia cordata.
I believe that is a shrub.
Tilia cordata is a tree. That's, it's not basswood, little leaf, little leaf linden.
That's the symbol.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but you're saying the symbol's a shrub?
no, it is the tree.
Yeah, the size
So-
on the
oh, all
table
right.
shows 3 inches as well, so I'm assuming it's a
So
tree.
you're putting,
tree.
so you're putting
Yeah.
trees around, it's just hard
Around
to
the
understand this
perimeter,
plan. You're putting trees around the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, we reviewed it, there were evergreens, we made some comments on the street trees. Was there any changes since?
No.
Yeah, all right. No, I think you're landscaping it sufficiently.
The lighting?
Yeah, the lighting, I don't think that changed either.
That has not changed
Okay.
either, that's still the same. Pole mounted with full cutoff, dark sky compliant lighting.
So it looks like you're lighting up the whole parking lot, and then you have lights on the building too?
Wall packs, decorative, architectural, full cutoff, they're not old
Right.
school traditional, they're architectural elements.
Yeah, and sheet 5, and it shows the different fixtures as well. So that's part of what I normally look for, the architectural review board's supposed to look at the lighting fixtures as well.
Are they on all the time at night, or are they timed?
They can be. We didn't specify a specific timing
Is there anything in the code for
pattern or anything like that.
I know brightness is one, but
I don't believe there is. I mean, it's a residential
It's a safety
application, so, I wouldn't want to have, somebody coming home at 4 AM and not having light.
Right.
But there's no proposed spillage over the property line. Use it 0-foot candles well before the property line on all the sides.
What color are you making the light fixtures?
Well, actually, I should say, there's a tiny little bit of spillage over towards the Sparrow's Nest side. That's a wooded area on the Sparrow's Nest side there. Oh, no, again, I'm sorry. That's on, yeah, your plan doesn't actually go to the property line on the lighting plan, right? On the Sparrow's Nest side.
Sparrow's Nest side is...
That way.
Other way, other side.
Yeah,
Yeah, your left.
yeah, no,
Property line goes farther over, but we've hit the 0 before we've...
Yeah, okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. So there's no spillage across any of the property lines with this.
yeah. What color are you intending on making or I would like to suggest you make them an earth color, an earth tone, like brown color.
The fixtures
Yeah, the light-
themselves,
the light
like a
fixtures,
bronze
the
or something, like a
poles,
rub
yeah.
bronze or something?
Yeah, like a brownish,
Yep, bronze.
something that's discreet looking, more earth tone.
We can note that on the plans, or however you'd like to accomplish that. I can just put a note on the plans if that's sufficient.
Well, I mean, just bring the color, you're gonna bring us the swatches, right?
I'm gonna pester him to give me what he needs to with the sign, yes.
So bring the color chart for the light fixtures, and just pick like the brownish color, and then we'll confirm it, and then you can write that on the drawing.
Yeah, you could actually even, there's an ordering guide on your cut sheet that's on the plans that talks about the color there, so you could actually put an arrow or circle it or something.
Yeah, well, I can't read that, but usually it's one of the last digits is the color. So
Like the model number, you say?
the model part string usually has all the options, and you can see, usually, I can't see, it's a little small for me to read, but usually white, bronze, black are
Yeah,
the most common colors.
Yeah, and you should also make sure that on this, you can not only just identify the color in that ordering guide that's on the cut sheet, but you should also just make sure that you say what the color temperature is, because that's another important feature of lighting. So we want those less bright, like the 3,000 Kelvin color temperature.
Yes, in the luminaire schedule, the model, the 3K7, that's the 3,000 Kelvin. So we'll put that.
Yep, I see that, yep. So then that actually might have the B on the pole mount for the beacon. B might be what is that B?
Well, I'll double check that. That's part of the IES file. Many times it'll
Bronze or something?
self-populate some of those models.
sure.
So I'll just double check to make sure that that's what that B means.
And next time too, you're gonna have the details for the sign, you said?
They're coming from the architect. We're pestering them to get us to us in a timely manner so we can get this resolved.
You said for the sign? Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, I like that you're using like a fieldstone kind of planter around it.
I like fieldstone myself.
Would you say?
I like the fieldstone.
Oh, yeah,
That's-
yeah.
it's-
Oh, that'll be
Aren't
nice.
they doing something that with you got the garbage disposal, you're doing something fancy with that too, if I remember.
Yeah,
It's gonna match
there's a
the building or
detail.
something.
We're supposed to paint it to match the building.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be
yes.
like a split
Yeah,
face concrete.
Yep,
color.
Yeah, that's what you've got shown on there, CMU finished surface to match the proposed building. So I don't know, I don't remember there being a split face block on the building. Maybe there was a water table on the building.
I'll have to, it's been a while since I've looked at the architecturals myself. No, just painted CMU. Yeah, just, we're CMU and we're gonna paint it, CMU and we'll paint it to match the building color. So when you see the color swatch, that's the colors that
Yeah.
we'll use for the
Yeah,
refuse enclosure.
yeah, those.
You want to paint the CMU, or is it like a split face, or is it an actual concrete masonry unit?
I think they're gonna have the concrete masonry unit and then just paint it, I believe. Most of what you'll see from that, from any vantage point, would be the front with the doors, unless you're actually pulling and going to the back.
Yeah, they're just basically cinder blocks painted.
That's what a CMU is, yeah.
Yeah.
Cinder block.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, that's not very attractive. Because they don't paint well, this paint's gonna start chipping off of that.
We can use like a masonry lock paint tinted to match which is a little better.
Yeah, I like those.
It's like it's a very thick, heavy
They
outfill in
have
those
some nice
quarters.
products out there for, like a textured relief on the face. That's what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
like
the
a
split
split
face?
face block, yeah.
Yeah.
That kinda
We can
gives a
change
little-
that.
You
I
can
mean,
section.
Yeah, and then you don't have to paint it and maintain it later.
if you prefer, we can do that.
Please.
We would, yeah. I just saw somewhere in some other development where they did a really nice job with the garbage enclosure, and I thought to myself, we talk about it, and I don't really think much about it, but when you see it done right, it's nice. It looks nice. It makes the property look nice. And it's,
Makes it could disappear.
It's important, yeah.
yeah, it is.
Definitely important site feature.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to come back next month? You're going to give us some more information, and but we're going to, you think we're in a good place that we could possibly give a condition final?
Yeah, I do. Most of the engineering stuff is taken care of, so
All right,
some loose ends.
I'm going to make a
Mr. Chair,
motion.
are you satisfied with the architectural components? Because it seems like, and I've never represented an architectural review board, and I'm still learning your code and your procedures. Is that important, and that will that be incorporated into the conditional, resolution approving the conditional site plan?
That's my thought. I'm thinking, like, we've discussed enough tonight that if you do your homework and come back and comply with what we were saying, if there are only minor changes, we can build that into a condition final.
Okay,
So I think we're safe to do that.
okay. Just asking
at
to,
this
for
point.
my own benefit also, as I learn the board.
Yeah, no, I mean, but every board's different, right? So
They
I think some might be a little more stringent about it.
Yep.
I think the fact that he's been here several times and he's already shown us the house, we've already sort of done some homework on this part of the project. So, I mean, unless you guys have any,
No, I-
do you want to, really see what he has, these swatches first, and then to the following meeting, or do you think we're?
I think we're good. I mean, we can change it if necessary when we see the actual samples.
Yeah, and then we'll, if we're not satisfied, we don't have to give, we
Right,
don't have to
give a final.
vote on the resolution.
Yeah, or
The
you
final's the
could,
linchpin.
you
Right.
could just
Right.
do, modifications to the resolution as it's drafted, as it's, as
Yeah.
you do go through it. So
Yeah,
you can just say, except that,
Yep.
the color shall be
yeah,
Featherstone gray or something. I don't know, whatever.
right.
Great selection. Featherstone.
Yeah, I know, it's a good call. Nice name drop. All right, so I'm going to make a motion for the town engineer to prepare a conditioned final approval for next meeting. Do I have a
I'll second.
Seconded by Fay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. And so just come back next meeting, we'll wrap this thing up.
It's a good night tonight, isn't it? I mean, it feels
I
good.
think so.
Sure does.
I'd like to thank the board again officially for all your efforts on everything and working with us for this project and all the rest of them that come your way from us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You're welcome. Happy to
We
meet
we
you.
enjoy working with you. Okay. Okay, final item, jet management extension.
So I sent you guys an email today because I reached out to the engineer and the applicant, and, I suggested that we meet on site. So I can show them some of the things that I felt like that were not being addressed in our comments, and it's been a number of times that we've asked for certain things, and this board has also waived certain other requirements for this project to help them get through. But there were certain things that I just couldn't get by, and some of those have to do with safety. So I want, lighting that's sufficient, makes it a safe area for residential. I wanted safe surfaces for walking and for parking. And when you go on that site right now, the pavement is basically gone. So the plan called for no construction, it called for, even though there was a sidewalk. It was just they were just gonna paint a couple lines for parking spaces on that existing pavement, which I just didn't think was sufficient and safe. So,
That's one more quick question.
yeah.
And again, this is another one that's been a while. What did they do with the outside of the building? Like, because that
So-
was like one of the big things. was-
Yeah, and I asked them to, you know, they gave us an elevation, but I asked them to supplement that elevation with what it is, the colors, you know, so like they painted, the front of it right now is brick, but it was painted white, so I just asked them, call that out on the plan so you guys know what you're looking at. I asked them for the trim, the windows, the doors, the shingles that you can see on the one portion of the roof where there's asphalt shingles. Those are all the things that we make every applicant do for architectural look at a project, so just
That
wanted
was-
that delineated on the plan.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, using like Faye's example, she showed
Sure.
the way the house is going to look. She had samples. It showed what was being done and what we can expect to see. Right now, this was, when I just did a cursory, it looked like, okay, we're gonna slap something and keep it moving.
Right.
That was my impression.
That's it. There is a plan there that just shows the floor plan and then it shows the front elevation. And it's basically the existing and it's,
Which isn't very
but
attractive.
it doesn't explain anything. So if you don't go there, or, you know, I shared a picture of it with you guys, but if you don't go there, you don't know exactly what that means. So I asked them to supplement that and, you know, add on to it. And then it's up to you guys if you want them to do any kind of renovations to that might spruce it up a little bit.
It can't stay the way it is. I mean, that's my personal opinion. There's no way. Not on town center like that.
What stage of the process were they at? Did we give them?
All they have at this point is sketch approval, which is why it's been extended. Because, again, our code calls for coming back for site plan preliminary within 6 months of sketch. So we've extended sketch a few times now. And then we extended sketch to tonight. So
Did they
just to finish my thought, you know, they mentioned to me, well, it was the applicant, and I also met with the DOT out there. They just mentioned about, you know, whether or not, you know, they could come back with all the things I talked to them about. And I said, I think that's wise, you know, just come back with these things addressed, and then we can continue to move on the process. Interestingly, there was also landscaping shown in the front, some shrubs that were shown in the front in a previous iteration that were removed for this iteration. So, you know, our code requires that. Our code also requires that parking be in the back of the building, but since this was an existing situation, the board was willing to allow them that. So I wasn't really willing to allow not having landscaping around there to help soften that up. That's also a code requirement, landscaping in our parking areas, particularly in town center, but really every site plan needs it.
Right.
So he's aware of that. I said, being that this pavement really isn't safe, you know, I think, and he goes, oh yeah, well, we're gonna repave. And I was like, well, that's not what your plan says. So I just want you really to clean up your plan and come back and tell us what the actual plan of what you're gonna do is. So they're aware of that. I'm expecting that they're gonna listen, I would hope, or else they're really not gonna get too far. You know, I basically didn't think it was prudent to have them on the agenda much more tonight, but I wanted to give you an update of what we had tonight. And in theory, the sketch approval was extended to this month so that they could come back. So it's up to you guys if you want to give another extension to either next month or just a little bit more time now. But I think it's been made clear.
Is it their intention to come back?
Yeah, he said they're definitely going to be coming back. And the DOT acknowledged that they had some preliminary talks,
Okay.
so.
Would it be prudent then just do the 30 extension at this point for the next meeting?
We could do,
And see if they come
Cheryl,
back.
do you know what the date of the next meeting is?
Wasting our time.
Next for 19.
Right.
And today is
I was
what,
gonna say they should
15?
put it on the thing, right there it is, right there.
You
All
said
right.
the 19th of February?
It's on your agenda. Just read it. It's right in front of you there.
So I'll make a motion to extend this until, what did we say, February 19th? 2026.
Do I have a second?
That's 35 days, just for the record, 35
Yeah,
days.
because,
So if I may just ask for my own knowledge, and I apologize for interrupting, because I saw that your code has 180 days from initial sketch, preliminary sketch plan approval, and then the board can extend twice for 90-day increments. So when was the preliminary sketch plan approved?
We haven't gotten there. We didn't approve it.
Sketch plan was.
Oh, the sketch, the
yes.
sketch plan
The
was
sketch.
approved, yeah.
Okay. Is that
wanna give me a
in June
minute, I can-
2025? I'm just curious. Again, it predates my participation.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't remember.
did we give
It's like last
another
spring or
extension on that?
I'll tell you in a second. I'll just go into,
Last time they were here, they were asking about the sign, and we were commenting on the sign, and then they just said, oh, we'll leave it up. That was another thing I think we discussed.
yeah,
last
and
time.
we said you can't, unless the business is there, our code doesn't allow that sign to
Right.
stay.
Right,
So
'cause
now
we
the
wanted to
latest
just
plan
advertise
does
them.
say the signs to go.
So this is a new rendition, this plan?
Yeah, that is an update, but I didn't get through much of my letter because I was realizing that some of the things I had asked for really weren't satisfied to my approval, so I thought it would be prudent just to have a discussion with them.
Yeah.
Let's see, I believe it was 2024.
Yeah, this is May 22nd, 2024, this drawing.
Okay, so it was that long ago. So I don't know, even though I'm not familiar with it, from prior experience, I don't know if you have the authority to extend it at this point, because it's limited in your code. You know,
Oh.
the town law addresses site plan approvals, and there's no limitation on time, as opposed to like subdivision approval, which you have the 180 days, and then you can extend for 90-day increments if the board determines it's reasonably, warranted by the circumstances. But just to advise you, based on my reading earlier, I know you may have a different procedure that you've had, but just to give you my advice.
Extending it is, what are they losing anyway? They only have sketch, like, they can come back in one meeting and get sketch approval. They haven't lost much.
Right, it was December 19th, 2024 meeting was the sketch, so that's basically, we're just over the year now,
Now,
right?
you're suggesting we can't even, we
I don't know if you have the authority to under your own code. And I don't know if the town board granted you the authority to extend it, whether the town board has to actually waive the requirement and allow for further extensions.
Okay,
It's who has the authority to do it.
all
With
right.
that being said, too, if it's not a big hiccup, for them to just come back and get sketch plan again and hopefully update you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the things that we did were, there was a general municipal law 239 referral,
To the county plan?
county planning, and it was a type 2, it's just a multifamily, or three-family, which is type 2. So we didn't really have any lead agency circulation, coordination, or anything like that, so it really wouldn't put
We
them
didn't-
back too far.
Yeah,
You're
we
right.
didn't, we
I
didn't
mean,
do a public hearing. Well,
They could
listen,
catch
Doesn't
up.
seem like there was any real
Yeah,
formal approval process that was initiated. I didn't do it, I swear.
all right, I mean, if we can't do it, then we can't do it. I mean, that's the
That's
answer to
fine,
that.
I'll retract my motion.
Okay.
I mean, this has been a long
Do you
time.
retract your second, Claude?
You don't have to retract my eye. It's all good.
All right, well, I guess, thanks for the update. It's good for us to know what's going on. They should feel free to come before the board, and they can continue where they left off, but we'll have to reconsider sketch plan approval.
Right, which might not be a bad idea.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't really think it's that big of a loss, it's just another vote, We haven't seen them in a long time, so there doesn't seem to be a rush to get this done. But that's up to them. So, all right, thanks for reviewing that, Dan, and let us know if that's going to be on next meeting's agenda. All right.
Will do. Thank you.
I think that's it. Is there anything else? I think that's it.
One
So-
more thing. Something about the meeting, right?
Yeah, you just have to just approve the calendar.
Oh,
Submission deadlines are all Friday this month.
Yeah, so our code requires 17 days prior submittal,
oh,
so that
So
was
we
just
need to
updated
reapprove
appropriately.
we need to reapprove the planning board meeting dates for 2026?
Because that had the submission deadlines as well. So the submission deadlines got bumped one day,
Oh,
was the difference
okay.
from what you had previously approved.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 planning board proposed meeting dates.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, unanimously approved. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
One more step closer.
one more step closer.